Um, Once again, last 10 pages here, we'll read out the throttling and reversing gear. Throttle shall be maintained in safe, suitable condition for the service. Efficient may be provided to hold the throttle level as desired. The reverse gear, general provision of the reverse gear, reverse level quadrant shall be maintained in safe, suitable condition for the service. The reverse lever latch shall be so that the range is easily disengaged, provided that with a spring which will keep it firmly seated in the quadrant. Properly counterbalanced shall be provided with the valve gear. Air operated power reserve. The steam locomotives are equipped with the air operated reserve gear equipped with all connections whereby such gear may be operated steam auxiliary supply and air in case of the failure of main reserve air pressure. The operating valve hand for such a connection shall be conveniently located in the cab. Locomotive shall be plainly marked, and if any independent air reserve is used to source the auxiliary supply for the air reserve gear shall be provided, which means to automatically prevent the loss of pressure in the event of the failure to the main reserve pressure. The power to reverse gear reserves. The power reverse gear reservoirs provides most of the equipped that means to automatically prevent the loss of pressure into the event of the failure of the main pressure have storage capacity for no less than one complete operation cycle of the control equipment. Draw gear and draft system. Draw gear between the steam locomotive and tender. Maintenance and testing the draw gear between the steam locomotive and tendering together with the pin fastening shall be maintained in safe, suitable condition. And the pin drawbar shall be removed and tested. The defects using the appropriate NDE method. Every annual inspection shall be visual inspectors not disclosed. Defects in addition with the NDE testing method shall be employed. The suitable means securely in the drawbar pin in place shall be provided. Inverted drawbar pins shall be held in place plate into or the stirrup. The safety bar chains in generally one or more of the safety bars, two or more of the safety chains provided between the steam locomotive and tender combined with the strength safety chains and safety bars. The fastening shaped between less than 50% of the strength drawbar connection. They maintain a safe, suitable condition as the service inspection. Same type of the draw gear is inspected. Minimum length of safety chains, bars, safety chains and bars shall be in minimum length consistent with the curve in the railroad in which the steam locomotive is operated. Lost motion between the steam locomotive tenders not be equipped. The spring buffers shall be equipped. Minimum shall not exceed 1/2 inch. Spring buffers are used in between the steam locomotive tender spring buffer. The spring the tender. Spring buffers. When the spring buffers are used between the steam locomotive and tenders shall be applied with not less than 3/4 of an inch compression. Shall at all times sufficient compression to keep the chafing faces in contact. 23091 chafing irons that permit the proper curving shall be securely attached to the steam locomotive. Tendering shall be maintained permanent lateral and vertical movement. Draw gear and draft system. Couplers and draft gears attachment to the steam locomotive tender shall be securely fastened and maintained in safe, suitable condition for the service. The driving gear, piston and piston rods. Maintenance testing of the piston rods shall be maintained in safe, suitable condition for the service. Piston rods shall be inspected cracked. So each time they are removed shall be removed and found in defective fasteners shall be kept tight and shall have some means preventing the loosening and falling of the place. Cross 23094 crossheads. Crossheads shall be maintained in suitable conditions for service, not more than 1/4 of an inch vertical, 5/16 of an inch lateral clearance between the crossheads and the guides. 23095 the guides shall be securely fastened and maintained in safe, suitable condition for service. 23096 main side and the valve motion rods. Generally, the main side of the valve motion rods developing cracks becoming otherwise defective shall be removed serviceably, immediately repaired and renewed. Repairs and welding made side and valve motion rods shall be made in accordance with the accepted national standards. The steam locomotive owner and the operator shall be written and requested to approve the FRA regional administrator to weld the defective main rod side rods, valve gear components, bearings bushing shall be fit so as to be in safe, suitable condition for the service means provided to prevent the bushings turning in the rod shafts and the fit securely bolted to the rods. Floating bushings needed not to provide the means of preventing bushings from turning. Side motion rods to mount all the side motion rods. Each rod of the crank pin shall exceed 1/4 of an inch. Oil grease cups. Oil grease cups shall be securely attached to the rod. Grease cups shall be equipped with suitable fastening that will prevent them from being ejected. Main rod bearings. The bore of the main rod bearing shall not exceed the pin of the diameters more than 3/32 inches of flange from the back and the end. Front and the back of the end of the total loss of the motion at both ends shall not exceed 5/32 of an inch. The side rod bearings. The board or the side rod bearing shall not be exceed the pin diameters more than 5/32 of an inch on the main pin and more than 3/16 of an inch on the pins. 230 crank pins. General provisions: crank pins shall be securely applied, securing the fit of the loose crank by shimming, pricking, punching, or punching or welding is not permitted. Maintenance: crank pin, collars, collar fasteners shall be maintained in safe, suitable condition for service. Running gear. Now let it run. Driving, trailing, engine, truck axles. Condemning defects. Driving, trailing, engine, truck axles. With any of the following defects shall be removed serviceably, immediately, and repaired. See Appendix A for the part inspection requirements. Bent axle cut journals can be made to run cool without turning. Transverse seams in iron and steel axles. Seams of axles causing journals to run hot. Axles that unsafe account of the usage, accidents, and derailments. Any axle worn with half-inch more than the diameter of the original new journal diameter, except for the provided in paragraph A7 of this section, and any driving axle with the main driving axles with the original or new diameter greater than 6 inches that are worn 3/4 of an inch more than diameter below the original diameter. B. The journal diameter stamped for the steam locomotives well with the plain bearings. Original new journal diameter shall be stamped on the end of each axle no later than January 18, 2005. The tender truck axles, the minimum diameter axle of the various axle loads shall be loaded as follows. If an axle load in pounds is 5,000, the minimum diameter is 5.5. The minimum diameter of the wheel seat is 7/38. The minimum diameter of the center is 6 7/16. An axle load in pounds of 38,000 pounds. The minimum diameter journal is 5 inches. Minimum diameter wheel seat is 6 3/4. Minimum diameter in the center is 5 7/8. 31,000 4.5. In the minimum diameter of the journal, minimum diameter in the wheel seat is 6 1/4. Minimum diameter in the center is 5 5/16. 2,200 pounds, 3 3/4 of an inch. Minimum diameter in journal. Minimum wheel seat is 5 inches. Minimum diameter in the center is 4 3/8. 15,000 pounds, 3/4 of an inch. By wheel diameter wheel seat 5 58 of an inch. Minimum diameter of the center 3 7/8 of an inch. Defects in the tender trucking axle journal. The tender trucking axle condemn the tender trucking axles as used in the following defects shall be removed serviceably, immediately repaired. Axles that are bent, collars that are broken character, worn 1/4 of an inch or less of thickness. Truck axles that are unsafe, accounting the usage of accident, derailment, and fillet. The back shoulder is worn out. The gauge between the wheel seat is more than 1/8 of an inch in depth. The tender truck journal condemning the defects. The tender truck back journal. Any of the following defects shall be removed serviceably, immediately. The repaired cut journals can be made out of the running cool without turning. Seams, axles causing journals to be run hot. Overheating evidence pronounced by the blue block. Discoloration, transverse seams of the journal. Iron, steam, steel axle journal surfaces having the following circumference scores: corrugation, pitting, rusting, etching. Steam locomotive driving journal boxes. Driving journal box. The driving journal box shall be maintained in safe, suitable condition for the service. No more than one shim may be used in between the box and the bearing. The broken bearings shall be removed. The loose bearings shall be renewed and repaired. Or renewed. The tender planing, bearing journal bases, plain journal bases. The following defects shall be removed from the service immediately on the repair. A box that does not commit with a visible free oil, a box lid on the missing, broken, and open except for to receiving service. A box containing foreign matter such as dirt, sand, coal, dust that can be reasonably expected to damage the bearing to have determinable effect on the lubrication of the journal and the bearing. A lubrication pad is missing, is not in contact with the journal, having extending half the length of width of the pad more than accepted in the design, showing the evidence having scorched and burned glazes, containing decaying, deteriorated fabric that impairs the proper lubrication of the pad. However, the 6 in exposed center, except for the design 7. Has metal parts contacting the part journal. C. A plain bearing is missing the crack. Plain bearing is missing, crack, broken. Has bearing liner loose, broken out of the piece. Indication to have been made overheated evidence. Melted Babbitt. Smoke for the Hobbit. Oil. Journal service damage. Plain bearing wedge of the missing, crack, broken is not located in the design position. Tender rolling bearing journals shall be maintained in safe, suitable condition. Driving box shoes and wedges. Driving box shoes and wedges shall be maintained in safe, suitable condition for service. Lateral motion. Condemning limits the total lateral motion play between the head hubs of the wheels and boxes. Any pair of the wheels shall not exceed the following limits. Engine truck wheels with a swing center 1 inch, and truck wheel with a rigid center 1.5 inch, trailing truck wheels 1 inch, driving wheels 3/4 of an inch. These limits increase when the steam locomotive operating on the track with a curvature of 20 degrees when the shown in the conditions require the additional lateral motion. No interference with other parts of the lateral motion shall increase that within such limits the driving wheels and rods and crank will not interfere with other parts of the steam locomotive. Trucks, frames, and equalizing system maintenance and inspection. Frames, decks, plates, and tailpieces, pedestals, braces shall be maintained safe, suitable condition for the service. Shall be cleaned thoroughly, inspected, and necessary to maintain safe, suitable condition for service. Cleaning intervals in any case not exceeding 1,472 service days. Broken frames properly patched and securely clamped. Other suitable means of restoring rigidity of the frame are permitted. 230 107. Tender frame and body. Maintenance tender frames shall be maintained in safe and suitable condition for that service. Height and difference. The difference between the deck of the tender and the cab floor of the deck of the steam locomotive shall not exceed 1.5 inch gauge a minimum width. The minimum width of the gauge between the steam locomotive and the tender which standing the tangent track shall be 16 inches. Tender frames condemning defects. The tender frame with any of the following defects shall be removed. Servicely immediately repair the portion of the tender frame of the body except for the wheels to have less than 2 inches and 1.5 inches earns from the top of the rail. The tender center still broken, crack from the more than 6 inches preemptory buckled more than 2.5 inches. Any 6-foot length. Tender coupler carrier is broken or missing. Tender center plate is a portion which is missing or broken that is not properly secured. Tender that has broken side sill, cross buried, and body bolster. 230-108. Steam locomotive leading and trailing trucks. Maintenance trucks shall be maintained safe and suitable condition. Services center plates shall be fit properly. Male center plate shall be extending into the female center plate not less than 3/4 of an inch, and all center being devices to properly maintain should not permanently lose motion or excessive 1/2 of an inch. Safety chain and the required suitable safety chain is provided in the front of the corner of the four-wheeled engine truck. Clearance required. All parts of the truck have sufficient clearance to prevent them from interfering with other parts of the steam locomotive. 230-109. Tender truck frames. A tender truck frame should not be broken to have a crack and stress areas that affects the truck structural integrity. Tender truck centers shall be securely maintained safe and suitable condition for the service provided with the center spin properly secure. The male center pin must extend to the female center plane at least 3/4 of an inch. Shims may be used between truck center plates. The tender truck bolster should maintain approximately level of condemned defects of the springs, the spring rigging, and the spring rigging with the following defects shall be taken out of the service immediately, owned and properly repaired. Elliptical springing for the top of the long left leaf and any other 5 leaves entire for the spring broken, the broken spring of the saddle, the broken coil spring fully compressed, the broken cracked equalizer, hanger bolt and gip bend, a broken coil spring saddle. 6. A semi-elliptical spring in the top and leaf broken on the 2 leaves and the top of the half broken in any 3 leaves and any tire broken. D. Tender securement arrangement equipped with a tender's device and securing arrangement intended to prevent the tender of the body of the separating in the case of the derailment should maintain a safe and suitable condition for service. Side bearings, trucks, center drafting equipped with the side bearings, truck center devices maintain the safe, suitable condition for the service. Friction side bearings shall not be run in contact, shall be not considered to be in contact with the clearance between them and either which measured between the level track. tangent level track. Side bearings, although all real trucks shall be equipped with wide center bearings for the spread of the side bearings at 50 inches, the approximate minimum clearance with 38 inches on each of the side of the rear trucks, 3/4 of an inch on the side of the front truck. When used spread of the side bearings increased, maximum clearance shall be increased proportionally. 23010 pilots. General provision pilots shall be securely attached to proper base and maintain a safe, suitable condition for the service. Maximum clearance. The minimum maximum clearance of the pilot above this shall be 3 inches. The minimum clearance shall be 6 inches measured on the tangent level track. 230E1111 Arrangement of the spring equalizer. Spring equalizer shall be arranged to ensure the proper distribution of the weight of the various steam locomotives to maintain approximately level and safe condition for service, adjusting the weights, shifting weights from one pair of the wheels for another permissible. Springs and spring rigging condemning defects. Springs and rigging with any of the following defects shall be moved immediately renewed and properly repaired. Top leaf broken, top leaf leaves in the top half, 3 leaves and single spring is in 3 leads in a spring broken. Long side of the spring should not be considered top. The broken springs not exceeded if those are the requirements of repair and applying clips. Providing clips can be used and made in place. Any spring which leaves excessive shifting of the band, broken coil springs, broken driving bad axle or driving box saddle, equalizer, hanger, bolt, or pin. Wheels and tires, 230 and 112. Wheels and tires. Mounting wheels should be securely mounted on the axle, pricking the punching, shimming the wood of the wheel fitted with a permitted diameter. Wheels of the same axle shall not vary more than 3/32 of an inch. Wheels used on standard gauge track out of the age with the instead of the flange measured on the lines of 53 inches and more than 53 inches and 3/8 wheel used on the less than standard gauge. The track of the gauge is inside of the out of the flange measured on the baseline. The relevant track gauge with 3.5 inches more than the relevant track gauge of 3/8 of an inch. Flange distance variance distance between the back of the flange wheels and mounted the same axle not vary more than 1/4 of an inch. D, the tire thickness, which may not have the minimum thickness less than the indicated table in the paragraph. Retaining the rings measured and tires to be broken out. The circumference of the ring of the minimum thickness of the tire below the limit is specified earlier than paragraph D. The tire extended between the retaining rings, provided that not to reduce the thickness of the tire less than 1/8 of an inch. The throat flange of the counter bore retaining rings, the required minimum thickness of the tires, the wheel center diameter weight per axle. 30,000 pounds or under the weight per axle. The diagram from 44 and under is 1/4 of an inch. Over 44 to 50, 156 of minimum thickness. Over 50 to 56 inches in diameter. Then 1/3 of an inch thickness minimum. Over 56 to 62 inches, and wheel center 176 of an inches, and it continues to go on. This poundage is in the wheel flange is in the minimum thickness in inches. Tire width of flange weight shall be not less than 5.5 inches wide. Standard gauge not less than 5 inches wide. Narrow gauge plan tires shall be not less than 6 inches wide, and standard gauge not less than 5 inches wide for the narrow gauge. 213 if wheels or tire defects. The steam wheels, tender wheels, and tiring defects are listed with the section removed for the service and immediately prepared, except for the provided in 230.114. Welding on wheels, tires, and prohibited wheeling. A wheel that has been welded on is a welded wheel for the life of the wheel. Cracks and breaks. Wheels and tires must not have cracks or breaks in flanges, tread, rim, or plate or hub brackets. Flat spots. Wheels may not have single flat spots, and that is 2.5 inches or more in length. 2 adjoining spots that are 2 or more inches in length. Chip flanges. The wheels and tires not having the gouged chips of the flange with more than 1.5 an inch by 1 inch in width. Broken rims. Wheels, tires may not have frequently broken rims of the tread measured for the flange 5/8 of an inch above the tread or is less than 3/34 of an inch in width. Shelded out spots. Wheels and tires may not have shelded out spots to 2.5 inches or more in length, and 2 adjoining spots that each 2 or more inches in length, so the numerous to endanger the safety of the wheel. The seams when the wheels or may not have a seam running lengthwise in the width of 3 3/4 of an inch of the flange. The worn flanges of the wheels tires may not have the flange worn from 15/16 of an inch to length and thickness or less, measured 3/8 of an inch above the tread. Worn tread wheels and tires must not be tread worn or the hollow 5/16 of an inch or more. Flange weight: the wheels and tires must not have flange weight less than 1 inch or not more than 1.5 inch measured on the tread on the top of the flange. Rim thickness: wheels may not have the rims less than 1 inch thick. Wheels may not have wheel diameter variance. Wheels of the same axle driving wheels greater than 3/4 of an inch. All tires returned and applied by the driving training trails. A single tire applied to the diameter must not vary from more than 3/32 of an inch. On the opposite wheel of the same axle, single pair of the tires applied to the diameter must be put in with 3/32 of an inch average diameter to wheels driving wheel base to be applied. 230-114 wheel centers. Filling the blocks in the shims. Driving the training wheel centers. Divided rims shall properly be fitted on iron steel filing blocks before tires are applied on such a filing block. Should be properly maintained. Wheels shims inserted between the tire wheel center. Not more than 2 thickness shims must be used. Which must be extended entirely with the wheel, and shim may extend around the wheel in 3-4 pieces, provided that do not lap. When the wheel center is condemned to defects, wheel centers in the following defects removed from their service immediately and repaired. Wheel centers loose and axle broken, defective tire fastenings, broken, cracked hubs, plates, bolts, spokes, except for the provided in paragraph 4 and B4 section, deriving the trailing wheel center of the 3 adjacent spokes. 25% or more of the spokes and wheel is broken. Wheel center: when the center is repaired, wheels are driving the brazing defectively properly repaired. Following the repair, the crack pin axle remaining tight in the wheel banding of the hub. Permitted counterbalance measurements shall be maintained in a safe, suitable condition for the service. And steam locomotive 115 feed water tanks. General provision: tanks shall be maintained from the free of leaks and safe, suitable condition services. Suitable screens must be provided with the tank wells or tank hoses. Shall be maintained manner of unobstructed flow of water. Free water tanks equipped with the device permits the permission a measure of the quantity of the tender feed of water. The cab, tender, deck of steam locomotive shall devise properly maintained. Inspection frequency as condition of the warrant, not less than frequently every 92 service days. Interior tank shall be increased. Inspecting clean and necessary. Top tender behind the field space shall be kept clean. Means and provided to carry off excessive suitable covers provided with the filing of the holes. 230-116 oil tanks. Oil tanks shall be burning steam locomotives shall be maintained free of the leaks. Oil supply pipes shall be equipped with a safety cutoff device. If is located in the fuel supply tank is either another safe location close automatically when tripped, and can be reset without hazard. Cannot be and can be hand operated. Clearly marked location one inside of the cabin. One occasion acceptable for the ground of each exterior part of the steam locomotive. And that is the book. It's title 49 CFR Part 230 Steam Locomotives.